But our soldiers, men and women, are all over the world now serving in Afghanistan and Iraq and other places probably that we don't even know about. And they need to be provided the opportunity to be able to vote. Too many times what we've seen, even most recently last year, that those abilities to vote have been compromised by ballots being late or not getting back on time. So I think what we're talking about here is a way that the states can develop a plan that's uniform to make sure that basically the soldiers that are serving throughout the world can, in a timely fashion, be appraised of their rights to vote and to be able to cast those votes and have them count.
Exactly.
Is that pretty much what we're talking
Exactly
about?
what we're talking about here. And as I said, nationwide, while 91% of those that apply for an absentee ballot actually manage to effectively successfully vote, among the UOCAVA voters, the military and overseas citizens that our office serves, it's only about 67%. And that's of those who just bothered to apply. There's so many like you when you're in Vietnam that don't even bother to try because they know it's probably going to be too complicated, both in terms of the challenges of moving ballots back and forth. And as I know you can appreciate, the challenge is very real. You know, it can take 7 to 10 days to get to Kabul or to Kandahar, but that last mile to get to the forward operating bases, to get to those small outposts where they're doing maneuvers, to get to ships accompanying a carrier in a battle group, can take an extra 10 or 20 days on top of getting to Kandahar and Kabul in the first place. And that's just the one-way transit. You've then got to get those ballots back. And so the electronic transmission that I know New York actually did last year makes a huge difference in sort of taking care of one-way transit there for many, but not all of our soldiers and sailors. But it doesn't take care of coming back. And because of the fact that you all need the ballots marked a day ahead of time and put back into the mail, days late aren't nearly, it is so much harder for people each day that the ballot is put in the mail late. Because those days on the back end, to get back, don't do any good if you didn't get the ballot in time to mark it in the first place.
I know, just communicating when I was in Vietnam, it was either letters or we'd do little cassette tapes and send those back and forth. Today, which is great, you see the troops on a laptop and they're communicating almost real time with their families back home. I never made a phone call. It was 15 or 16 months before I could actually talk to anybody, any of my family when I was in Vietnam. But today, with the advanced electronics we have and everything, and that's what we should be looking at. We should be looking at taking advantage, and it's secure.
Yes.
I mean, it's not, it's not like the votes are going to be compromised.
And UMUVA does not in any way, shape, or form suggest that there should be electronic return of ballots. States might make that choice, but we're not suggesting that they ought to because we want to make sure that the vote is in fact secure. But New York is actually only 42nd out of 55 states and territories in terms of its compliance with our recommended legislation. And if you were to use UMUVA as your model, it would pretty much put you in the forefront of the country in terms of compliance with our suggestions on how to make it easier.
So we're talking about the Uniform Military and Overseas Voters Act,
Yes.
which obviously I'm going to support and urge my colleagues to support.
Very much appreciate it.
I have to go to session right now and perform my duties as a state legislator. I certainly appreciate you coming, and you have my full support on this, and I do appreciate you bringing this to the forefront in helping our troops.
And we appreciate you
and
squeezing
thank your
this in.
dad for his service.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for your service.